Welcome to Built-In Boots, the podcast that takes you behind the scenes at the DDS companies, where we're laying the foundation for tomorrow's infrastructure. In each episode, we bring you the real stories from the people who make it all happen, honoring everyone from the field to the front office. Join us as we explore their journeys, uncover the lessons they've learned, and show you how to build a rewarding career in the civil construction industry. If you're ready to learn from those who've built their success from the ground up, you're in the right place. Let's get started.
Welcome to Built-In Boots, Season 2. We've had a little bit of a hiatus here, but we're back. I'm joined today with Mike Fallat, president of the DDS companies, and we're going to talk a little bit about what's coming up this year, what we're looking forward to, what we're excited about, and where we're heading.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
thanks, Mark. Mark. Maybe just give the folks and me a reminder of where this podcast started, where Built-In Boots came from, why we do it. You know, all that good stuff, since it's been a little bit of a while since
it
we
has
jumped
been
in.
a little bit of a while. So, kind of throwing it back a little bit. Jordan Potter and I had a talk about this, and, we started to come to you with some of these ideas, and, we wanted to showcase the guys in the field. We wanted to showcase the guys that work with us, the guys that they're out there doing it every day, and they've got to do it right. It's one of those things where we just wanted to bring that into the limelight and be able to tell their story and help them out.
Yeah. I think there was good reception, too. And, the first, what do we have, 12 episodes down last year?
We had a few episodes out there, yeah. Yep.
I was actually surprised and excited to hear that a lot of people listened to it. And one thing that I don't think anybody anticipated coming out of it, but it was great, is some of the new employees that we hired last year, before they came on board, they got tossed an episode and said, hey, this is a little bit about us and our group. Take 20 minutes, take a half hour, listen to it. Then after you listen to it, see if it's something that you like, that you think would be a good fit. And it just gives a unique perspective to a team that you're joining that most people don't get before they have to jump in and be part of the team. So it's useful in that situation too.
Yeah, I agree. I did run into that, and actually I was surprised how far and wide it went. I wasn't sure what the reception was going to be like.
Yeah.
But what I found out was throughout my travels in the field, I would get asked about it. Hey, when's the next episode? What are you guys covering next? Where are you going? What are you doing?
Yeah,
people were into it.
These guys aren't shy. These girls aren't shy.
No,
I mean, some of you those listening out there, we're coming to your town soon, so don't be afraid to jump in, throw a mic on.
That's right. If you see me calling, just don't be afraid to answer.
You might even get a burger or a sausage out of it too.
Maybe.
Depends on how it goes.
I know I've got a lot of IOUs out there, so I've got to be careful.
Those have been building up. Those have been building up, I hear.
Oh yeah, for sure. I've been reminded this week in my travels.
I'm sure. Yep. I went and saw the Albany crew the first time in too long of a stretch that I haven't been out there, but I was sure to bring some hats with me to smooth it over, So a hat always goes a long way.
Hat goes a long way.
And a burger and a sausage.
A burger helps. That's true.
So, hey, jumping forward, obviously looking back, we haven't done one of these in quite a while, but there's really no reason for that other than the excuse of priorities, and we're busy and you're busy and everyone's busy, but now we're back at it, and here we are. So 2026, we're halfway through the year already, which is crazy to say out loud, but
it is.
But it's June, and what are you excited for this year, Mark?
I'm really excited to get back in the field. So we went through our heavy training season this spring. We've prepared the crews as best we could, and I'm excited to get out and actually see the crews, talk to the guys. That's really, I draw a lot from that, from going to the field and seeing what they're going through, and everybody is really willing to show me. Yesterday we were on a job site in the southern tier, and we were watching them pull in some pretty good sized plastic. It was really cool to see that process and talk to some of the guys that I had in class over the winter, and they're very proud to show me what's happening out there. So I'm hoping this year, actually, I've got an open invite to a station project, so I'm excited to go visit that.
That's cool. That's cool. How do you get one of those?
Well,
you gotta know some people.
I think, they think that the trailer's coming with me, so that was probably the thing that
Got it.
that did
Well,
it.
we'll see. If you show up with no trailer, we'll see if you get an invite back.
That's
If that
it. I'm
invitation
a little
doesn't
worried
close.
about that.
Yeah. No, I'm excited about that too. It's been a goal of mine that I have not achieved the past 2 years really, is to get out of this office and get out in the field more and just connect with the crews, even on simple stuff like, hey, show us what your challenges are today. How can we get better? What roadblocks can we pull out of the way so you can be more productive or more safe, or do a better job in a shorter period of time, or whatever it is. No matter what we do in our day to day, the work actually happens with hands on shovels out there in the field, and that's something that this leadership team never loses sight of. But it's important to stay out there, stay visible, stay shoulder to shoulder with the men and the women. It's just something you can never do too much of.
Yeah, I agree. I think that getting out there and being with the guys, and like you said, going out there and talking to them, hey, what challenges are you facing? How can we help you help us?
Yeah.
All the way around.
Well, we know there's plenty of challenges we face. There's no lack of that. There's no lack of that in what we do. I was just talking to a customer about this earlier, though. It's like we're never going to not face challenges. It's 9/10 how you respond to those, and how you be a good partner, how you be part of the solution, and how you work your way through the challenges is really what matters, not the challenge in and of itself.
Right. A couple things, you asked what I was excited about earlier, and we're talking about these challenges and things. There is something else, and I've been kind of recording some episodes without you. Sorry about that, but I know you're a busy guy.
It's all good.
It's tough to
We're on air.
get you here.
We're on air, so I'll hold my P's and Q's.
All right. So we've got a couple episodes in the tank that I'm excited to release. We have one in particular where it's an episode with a group of high school students that had they were actually at the Skills USA competition in New York State, and now they're currently they're in Atlanta competing in a safety competition.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And it's National Skills USA. I mean, it's really wild to think about. And they came in, they talked to us a little bit. We had an interview with them. They presented their actual project to us. It was really high caliber work.
Yeah.
And I was super excited for them. I think they're going to do a great job, and I'm looking forward to hearing the results.
Yeah, that's pretty
from them.
awesome. That's pretty awesome.
So they were able to share some of their story with us earlier on this spring. And then just recently, I had one that was a little close to home for me. I taught at Alfred State College for 14 years. I had the pleasure of having a ton of young men and women in my class throughout those years that are all across New York State now. And lo and behold, as I transitioned to DDS, one of my alumni actually filled my seat. And he has actually joined us this summer. I'm excited to introduce him on the podcast, along with a couple of his students, one of which is working with you this summer.
Yeah. I was going to bring that up. That's
and then
a new thing we're trying.
Yeah, another one is working out in Albany. So these guys are coming through, and they're working in the field, getting some field knowledge, and now they're getting that next step, right?
Yeah. No, it's such an inspiring story with Connor, and we'll get into that. But it's a new program I'm excited for. It started really with an idea. But once you put two and two together with your background and some of the people that in your past life, we turned it into something that's reality. And I think it's going to be, we're kind of building the plane as we go, as we're off the runway per se. But it's all about the people you're doing it with. And I think we got the right people that are around the table to make it happen. So super excited to see where that goes.
Yeah, I am too. I think that's going to be a huge program for the guys.
Yeah.
They're going to gain so much experience. It's going to be wild.
Yeah. Hey, we're going to take a quick pause because we got a special guest here coming in quick. So hang tight for 1 minute. All right, so we're back. We had to take a little pause to get our newest team member, our newest seat around the table for the podcast, at least, set up here. So JuWan came on board to lead communications efforts, lead marketing, internal and external for recruiting and otherwise, and help put proposals together, which is why he was late, because that takes priority over this for sure.
Yes, it does.
That pays the bills, right? So JuWan came on board 3 months ago. He's learned a lot. and has become a good teammate and a good partner to us all. So, JuWan, I'll kick it over to you for a brief intro, and then we'll just keep it going.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'm JuWan Graham, Communications Specialist here at DDS. Been here, like Mike said, for about almost 3 months, actually.
Yeah.
5 more days, it'll be 3 months.
It's been a fast 3 months.
It's been a whirlwind. It's been a good whirlwind.
Yeah.
Learned a lot from a lot of different people. Learned a lot about the crew. Saw a really, really cool site today. Probably one of my favorite projects I've seen so far.
Yeah, that's great.
Just been learning a lot and just talking to people and getting to know everybody.
Well, there's a lot to learn. I mean, that's one thing about what we do that's continuously astonishing is it's like 5 companies under one roof, right? Mm-hmm. And that's just us here in Rochester. And then you start to bolt on, our sister companies, Feeney out in Boston, the Miller guys out in Indianapolis, SEC, OMS, Ray out in Colorado. You can ripple effect the layers and layers of Artera and what it is that we do and how we do it. But here our core focus is Rochester, and even under this roof, it's an overwhelming amount of work and an overwhelming amount to learn as a new person. But you've jumped right in.
Yeah, definitely try to, and just the sheer amount of skill that these crews put in is something that I'm continuously astonished with.
Yeah,
the large scope of work that we do. Just seeing drone shots of the pipe that we put in, and it's like, we did that.
Most people think construction, right? I hope that we're starting to shift this stigma. I know internally we definitely are, but externally, within the industry and just our peers, construction is not the ditch diggers, quote unquote. This is technicians, and what we do is almost like a sport. I relate it to a car crew, in a race. You see a pit crew, and those are specialized technicians in what they do, whether it's the fuel guy or the tire guy or the brake guy or the steering guy. Everybody's an expert in their own trade, of their own craft. And we've evolved so heavily towards that. Recent times it's been probably enhanced from a visibility standpoint with all the trainings and the OQs and just us getting better with that. And it's always been there at our core. But I think in general, it's just rose to the surface on what it is that we actually do and how we do it.
Yeah, for sure. And big shout out to the training team here, Mark Payne and his crew, because we take individuals like me who are in the construction field, obviously, individuals like me who don't really know too much, and then they learn and they grow through the field. And we get to see how well they're able to grow with the knowledge that we give them, that Mark and his crew and everybody else in DDS, the knowledge that they give them to be able to succeed and grow that skill is truly amazing.
Yeah, Mark, if you were an ego guy, I'd be afraid to say this, but any chance I get to highlight what it is that our training department does, and close with a close partner of our safety group too, because it's all one attitude, it's one all belief. Anytime I get a chance to highlight that to a customer, a new employee, a friend, whatever it is, I do, because it's such a special effort.
Yeah, the compliance side, it never stops, but the piece that is really important, you spoke on, it's one belief or one vision. We care about the guys and making sure that they go home the same way they came in.
At the end of the day, that's what it's all for, right? It's how we continue to be the best that we can be, and it is at what we do, right? And if you're not looking in the mirror, if you're not realizing where things went wrong, how they went wrong, and then correcting them, you'll make the same mistake twice, 3 times, 4 times. And training is all about, one, how do we avoid the mistakes and be proactive in identifying things that we can solve before it becomes a problem. But 2, when we do make a mistake, let's figure out what went wrong. We know we're not out there making mistakes on purpose, right? We're all human to some extent. How do we put some really simple, obvious reminders in place to not be there again?
Yeah, 100%. It's and it's a constant effort, and it's always evolving, right?
Yeah,
it never.
Yeah, your training materials are not stagnant.
No, believe it or not, they are definitely a living, breathing thing. That's for sure.
So, JuWan, where are you from?
Originally from Detroit, Michigan.
Yeah.
And I migrated here to Rochester in 2022.
Yeah. So pretty new to the area. You were in Detroit your whole upbringing, your whole young professional career. Cool. What are the biggest similarities of Rochester to Detroit?
All 4 seasons.
Yeah.
You get summer, Can I say all 4 seasons? Because I feel like we
get a little bit of summer. We get
a lot more summer than spring.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But our spring was pretty much a mud season this year.
So all 4 seasons. It's a rust belt, kind of like the city. You know what I mean? Really gritty.
Yeah, industrial. You know.
Yep.
Blue collar industrial.
Yep. During the fall, you get your fried donuts, apple cider. You know what I mean? Apple.
Did you get a garbage plate yet?
We talked about this the other day. This is great.
You got to.
No.
Oh, I know why. We'll fix that. Just give it some time.
I have had a garbage plate.
Yeah? No, not a fan.
It's not garbage.
Not
It's
his
okay.
thing.
It's
not.
all right.
How about a Jenny Screamer?
What is that?
Jenny Cream Ale? Genesee beer?
Yeah, we got
No. I've had Genesee beer, not the cream ale.
Okay. All right. You got to get yourself a Screamer.
Okay.
That's right.
Yep.
Screamer?
Yeah.
What else? What else I got to get?
I don't know. I think the Detroit pizza game is on point. I like that.
The thick crust?
Style. Yeah, thick crust, spicy sauce, line of sauce on
I've been
top.
through a lot, Detroit and Chicago, but I've had it on my bucket list to go spend some time, long weekend or something with the wife in both of those cities. Haven't made it, but
Chicago is great, but Detroit, it's underrated.
yeah. Well, if I ever make it out that way, I'll make sure we connect before I go.
Sounds good.
Point me in the right direction.
Actually, I saw, before I started here, which was March 9th, I actually saw Jody from the recruiting team. And
Yeah, you guys met for lunch, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
She's great.
Yeah, she is.
She's a bit of a hidden treasure that we have, you know.
Most definitely.
Yep. Yeah, and she actually, I mean, looking back at the team now, she found a lot of people that are like part of our core team today, you know, and she just like her efforts are like just super invaluable.
She found me too.
Yeah.
She randomly reached out to me on
Yeah,
LinkedIn.
she does that. Yep. Yeah, watch out for that. Yep.
Yep, she's on LinkedIn.
Yep.
A lot.
Yep. Yeah, if you're out there listening, hide your profiles. We're gonna Jody will find them.
Jody will find you.
They'll have a DDS hat on in no time. Yep.
Let's kind of talk a little bit about the work, and then I'm gonna flip it over to Mike, and we're gonna talk a little bit about some of the programs and things that we started to reference earlier. I really wanted to talk about the work a little bit because JuWan's with us now, and from your perspective, I mean, we talked a little bit about this, but from your perspective, like you had a whistle-stop tour of a bunch of different sites this week. I mean, it was fun. Like we had everything from a restoration crew up through to a telecom crew. We got to witness some pretty deep excavation in some cases, where they were trying to look for something and trying to break up some rock and stuff like that, which was cool. They were backfilling when we got there. On top of that, we witnessed a pretty good size pullback with a directional drill, right? So that was in the southern tier yesterday. We had a restoration crew and a gas D crew working together in McGraw, fusion training in Cortland, civil job in Syracuse.
Yeah, a lot going on.
I mean,
a lot going on.
had a lot happening.
Good. Well, the boys were a little worried about going out that way and having a dead leg to get to the job and not being able to cover some content. But it looks like we solved all those.
Yeah, we had
those
some
hesitations.
We had a little bit of windshield time there in the evening, but other than that, we were able to hit some different jobs, see a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know, people that we typically don't see.
Yeah.
So it was good.
Yeah.
It was good.
So before we look too far ahead into 2026, you know, it's been a while since we've been on this platform and spoken to not just each other, but the folks listening too. I'll put you on the spot, and then you two, you can think about your answer first, though, because you're going to hear the question. So 2025, right? Last podcast we probably did together maybe June, July-ish.
Yeah.
You know, thinking about since that day into the fall, into wrapping up the year, like what are you most proud of from 2025 as the year wrapped up?
Wow, that's something.
Yeah.
I am really proud of how the team came together. The final leg of 2025 was really heavily set up for planning for early 2026 and rolling out our annual training program.
Yeah, 25 was a grind, wasn't it?
It was a grind. It felt like we fought for everything that we got in 2025.
Yeah, no doubt.
All the way through.
Yeah, I mean, operationally, too, one of the things when I look back, like, we scratched and clawed every little bit of small project, medium project, big project, whatever it was, to not have a gap. And man, we had no gaps in terms of lulls in the operations, in terms of schedule, and we completed all the projects that were in front of us, which was a great thing. But tough market in general. Not a lot of big meaty projects to go be on for 6 months at a time. It was more like a quick hitter here, a quick hitter there. And those smaller projects, the $100,000 to $1 million ones, they take just as much time and effort and attention as a $10 million one, from our boots on the ground to the supervisors to the project managers to the executives. So it's a grind when you're doing quantity in terms of project size.
Right. And on top of that, just with operations having to move and us having to set up for a new customer or, prep guys for a new task, whatever the case may be, it was a lot logistically to lay out. So,
and the support staff too, the safety folks, your group and training, our accounting team, FP&A. It's not just one piece of the puzzle that has to ramp up the effort. It's everybody. We'll talk a little bit more about this in a bit too, but 2026 is a different story for sure. The tides have turned in that aspect, and even though we're halfway through, still just really pumped on the year, excited on the year, both from a workload standpoint and the type of projects that we're doing, which we'll talk about. But 180 degrees from last year, and it felt good to get on the other side of the grind. But man, it was a lot.
It was tough.
Yeah,
it was tough.
Yeah, some of the other things, looking back from a recruiting perspective too, like we've attracted some really high quality people in the door over the past, when I look back a year, I guess, just super excited about like the team that we've built here. When I look back at like who it is that we have in certain places, from the field to supervision to management, it's almost like a how can we not win?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's almost like a how can we not win? And that's all that really matters. I mean, is say this all the time, we're a people company that just happens to do construction and engineering, and without the teammates and the right people, we're just a pile of iron and rubber, so yeah, just excited about setting ourselves up in 2026 and beyond through the grind second half of 2025 that we experienced.
Yeah, I think you're right though. We have got the right people in the right seats.
Oh, for sure.
And that is key to being able to be successful.
Yeah, and all groups too. It's not just like we got one stacked team over here, but we really got to do some work over here. Between all of our support groups here in the office, back office. Now JuWan's on board, obviously, so we're not trying to piecemeal, marketing efforts across divisions, and it just feels good to have the team built the right way, and then have the market in front of us to be able to go execute. Because at the end of the day, we know we can do that really well, and when we can have A players that we're doing it with, it's a really fulfilling thing.
Right, and we're talking about having the right people in the right seats. What's fun now is we can go out and we can seek out those individuals that we can build our bench with. Mm-hmm. That's really rewarding for us.
Yeah, we're not reacting. For the longest time, it was like, man, we need people. Just hire them, and we'll train them up. Or we'll give them everything they need to do it. And sometimes what you need to do in certain situations, but man, any day of the week, I'll take being able to be proactive in that effort and have a solid team, have a solid foundation, and then be able to be selective on how you train somebody or how you task them with certain responsibilities, and have it be more of a ripple effect rather than a tidal wave. Yep. Yeah, it feels good. I'd call that a win for 2025, is how we set ourselves up for 2026.
Yeah, I think so. I really do.
Yeah, and then through that evolution too, we had the first winter here in Rochester, New York, that we've had in probably 5 years, which was that was another grind. Just the wind this winter was brutal. The wind and the cold and the snow. I mean, pretty much the three food groups of a bad
trifecta.
Northeastern winter. But that kind of set us back on launching 2026 early, because we really weren't able to get going until late March, early April. But now we're firing on all 8 for sure as we're approaching June. But yeah, excited to look forward on the year.
It's always a great indicator for me when I can go to the laydown yard and I see no iron in the yard.
Yeah, you can thank Kevin Hippolito for that.
Yeah.
Yep. He does a good job of keeping it lean and mean out in the shop.
Yeah, and it's nice. You can see everything that's deployed. You can, and as we just wrapped up a travel here the last couple of days. It's nice to see everything out being used. Everything is up and running.
Yeah.
And seeing some new iron and rental iron and all sorts of other stuff out there, it's really cool.
Yeah, for sure. So one more flashback. We'll mention this a couple times throughout, I'm sure, but one more flashback to 25, the Dirt World Summit. We haven't been on air since the summit.
That's true. That's true.
How about some highlights from that?
That was a whirlwind trip.
Yeah.
I will say.
How about the team dinner we had?
We had a couple of really good team dinners. That was a great time, though.
Unique group.
Where was it at?
For those that don't know, the Dirt World Summit is something hosted by the BuildWit team. This year was out in, where was it, Phoenix? No, this year it's in Phoenix.
Yeah, we were
Last
in
year
Texas.
we were in Texas.
Yeah, up around Dallas. It was Gaylord.
Oh, yeah, it was Dallas. The year before was San Antonio.
Yep.
Yeah, they're on a Texas kick. But this year is Arizona.
Yeah.
And so it's a summit, JuWan, that essentially it's about 2,500 people across the industry, project management, superintendents, that style. It's all about construction and how we make each other better, really, and it's more of they have speakers and educational folks that talk on stage, but it's some pretty named people. Who's the Savannah Bananas guy? Jesse Cole. Yep, he spoke, the founder of the Savannah Bananas. Man, that guy, high energy, came flying out of the back of the room.
He was awesome.
Yeah, wild dude. I mean, but great talk. I mean, came from nothing, had this crazy idea to rebuild baseball and make it fun. And I didn't realize how large they really were until I looked them up and read I think he had a little bit of an excerpt there to read. Man, they're huge. I mean, they sell out stadiums. They're like sold out on the season already in the beginning of the year.
We
you got to buy
lottery
the next year. You're entering a lottery. So super cool what he's done. But yeah, they have some big name folks. Like Echelon Front is a participant. First Form, always has guys there, and they participate in different ways. They do a morning workout that they host. If you're up for that, I always try and peer pressure people into it, but
the stories that come
my
out
success
of that
rate's
are
been a little
pretty
bit
awesome.
low. Yeah. But yeah, that was a great time. And this time was the first one, which I wanted to bring it up, where we went as a group with a couple other sister OpCo individuals. And we got to go out to dinner and learn a little bit more about each other, of people that didn't know each other before, and just had a good time.
We did, and those relationships that we built during that time have carried on. And, it's nothing to pick up the phone and talk to one of those folks.
That's the important
that's
piece.
perfect.
Even after the event, we had a once a month meeting where we all just get together and share, like, hey, what challenges are you running into? This is some stuff we're running into here, and we're not directly like sharing resources to fix those problems, but just putting our heads together collectively as a team on how we do things a little bit different.
Yeah, and I think that call has been beneficial to everybody. We've been able to share quite a few things and give feedback on some things that we were working on, and I think that's been very important.
Yeah.
And I know that some of the things that we've shared have started to work their way into other OpCo's operations.
Yeah.
I get feedback on that occasionally when I run into those folks.
Yep.
So it's good.
Yep. Yeah, and then fast forwarding a little bit past the Dirt World Summit, so the elephant in the room, we surpassed a leadership summit this year, which would have been the third in a row, or would have been the fourth? Would have been the third in a row.
I believe so.
Really, the one reason for that was we had so much going on, both collectively as a team here in the office and individually within our groups, that we felt it would better serve everybody to have smaller kickoffs right within their divisions. And we just had a lot of like changes happening where contracts were flipping, or there was training changes. There was so much to cover that if we did do a leadership summit where we brought all 120 people here, we would have had to do another one in the divisions shortly after and bring everybody back for another one, and then to get the right messages across interdivision. So even though it was painful across the board, because I really enjoy that, and it's the one time that we get everybody in the room to align on what's our strategy this upcoming year, what are some things that we need to work on from last year, and just talk as a group, as one team. And I really enjoyed that the past few years. So this year we made the decision to kick it back within the groups and kick things off in a more refined way, more specific way. But that doesn't mean it's going away. We're going to be bringing it back.
Yeah, I think that timing-wise, you hit the nail right on the head. We were all running in different directions, it felt like. However, it was beneficial to do the smaller group, I felt, this year. And I do see a place for it. Again, this year, The smaller group was the benefit.
Yeah.
With a little bit more time, I think that we're going to have something really fun coming up.
Yeah,
So,
for sure. It was it's not something that you can half bake either
No.
and then launch. Like if we do it, we're going to do it the right way. I think it was the right call this year to do that within the groups. You know?
Yep,
But,
I do too.
But moving forward, stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned.
Yeah. And then kicking off 26, maybe some projects. I'll kick it off, and then you guys can chime in. But one thing that we're involved in this year that we haven't been involved in a significant way in years past is data center work. There's some things that I can't talk about for confidentiality reasons. We're under NDA on some projects with specific customers, but we're offering we're calling it source to site, which is essentially we start our efforts in the due diligence phases where we're working with customers and developers that are seeking to buy land, near natural gas infrastructure, and then with that land to develop the infrastructure with natural gas pipelines, with other utility infrastructure to make that piece of property marketable to an end user in the data center space. So maybe one step back before I get to why we're involved now. So data centers in mid 2025 were all power, right? They were all going near the transmission substations, the big transmission lines. And there really wasn't a space for us in that model. We're not going to go chase civil work around the nation. We keep that near and dear here to Rochester. We're not in the power space, obviously, from an overhead standpoint. We do some underground and pads, but there really wasn't a significant piece of it for us in that industry. But what flipped in 2025 is, surprise, surprise, everybody found that the transmission grid was full, right? And some of these developers that need a significant amount of power were going to these companies with requesting an interconnect, and they were being told, hey, that's great, we can power you, but it's going to be 5 to 7 years, right? And by the way, it's going to be $250,000 for you to get put on a study list, to see if we can even power the site from a feasibility standpoint. So when the hyperscalers, XAI, Meta, Google, Microsoft started hearing that, of course they shifted to what else is out there from a solution standpoint. And natural gas is that solution. I mean, there's nothing else that's as readily available, that's as clean as it is, and as feasible as it is to convert to power. That natural gas is the clear and evident choice on something to shift your focus towards. So the whole industry shifted towards where's the natural gas infrastructure, and not only where are the pipelines, but where are the pipelines that can spare some supply for our demand, right? Mm-hmm. And where we fit in great is that piece of the puzzle is it's not like transmission lines where even you can look on Google Images and find transmission lines are all buried, right? So you need to have access to certain systems to be able to even see where the pipelines are on a map, and then two, be able to have the knowledge and the experience to research how much gas is in those lines and what the ability is of these companies that own the gas lines to supply to the site. So that opened up a door for us to be involved from an engineering standpoint, which then opens up a door for us to be involved from a construction standpoint. Kind of our involvement right now is we're partnered with developers on the front end to find sites that are feasible for them to build data centers, and then that's quickly shifting into permitting and then construction of those pipelines from a project standpoint. So, we've been doing this in the renewable natural gas market for quite some time, both at landfills and at dairy with our companies here in Rochester and Mid-South down in Memphis. And that model, which is really in the RNG space, going from a landfill or a dairy farm to an interconnect, is basically the same, just bigger in the data center space. And there's a lot more of it going on. So it's a big space. There's a lot of money being spent. There's a lot of opportunity out there, but excited for us to bolt that on this year as a involvement that we didn't have last year.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see one of those projects and see the scale.
Me too. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah.
That's in one space. Now, what about some of the other projects that we have going on?
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about like civil and a few others.
Yeah. Yeah, civil, from a bidding standpoint, we're back to like some bigger projects that are in front of us.
Right.
Again, from a confidentiality standpoint, I don't want to say too much specific to clients, but I'll just say there's some phase 2s coming up of some phase 1s that we've done in the past few years that were nice big dirt projects for us, and we're excited for that. So yeah, that was another division where, last year, Maddie and the team did a great job to keep the projects heel to toe and keep the schedules full and keep all the crews going. But we just didn't have a big runway of market in front of us on like a big project we can sink our teeth into. And this year, I'd say we probably have 3 or 4 in front of us right now that are either locked up or will be hopefully in the near term, next month or so.
Yeah,
and that's just Rochester, right? I mean, we are starting to focus some strategy towards expanding to Syracuse. We're already in Binghamton. We've been in Binghamton for quite some time. We're not going to stretch too far out past Syracuse, Utica area. We've done the Albany run once before, and I'm sure we will again, but it won't be in 2026. But yeah, there's some markets out there that are setting the stage for some added runway as well.
Yeah, the scope and the size of some of these projects, even the stuff that's actually running right now, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun to see some big earth moving and see the dozers
The complex
out there
hospital
running.
work, the deep stuff, the deep shoring, the utility work that's both a headache and a feat to see done, because you're not sure what's in the ground there, what you're going to encounter, how it runs, where it runs. But I mean, that's one of the things our civil group is great at, is we do all the projects that nobody else can do, or that maybe only 1 or 2 of our competitors can do. It's not the run-of-the-mill pickup truck. We're going to jump in and do a subdivision. We do all the hard stuff, and I think we pride ourselves on that, and the men and women in the field pride ourselves on that we're the ones that come in when the projects are tough and most people shy away.
Yeah, I think that the folks in the field definitely have that pride. They know that they're there because it is one of the tougher jobs.
As they should. They're the men and the women that are doing it every day.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Talked a little bit about civil. We've talked about energy. How about Gas D?
Yeah, Gas D. Gas D, we're fired off for the year, I'll say. We've had a little bit of a hiccup early in the year. It was a slower start than we had hoped for.
Right.
Some of it was customer related on how fast they could release work due to some regulatory things going on within the state, but I think we're past that now. And the good news is, what we're hearing is, even though it was a slower start, they still plan to execute the full work plan on the year.
Great.
So that means a busy Q2, Q3, Q4, because it's going to be condensed into 3 quarters instead of 4. But yeah, maybe region by region. I mean, here in Rochester, there's some good work out on the street from a bidding standpoint, which we're hopefully shortlisted for. There was 6 projects I think that we bid, and really 4 that we have a keen eye towards. Central New York region, all the crews are headed out at this point. There's some in some remote places that are shoring up some new customers that we've put on the board this year, and that's where we felt the slowest start, again, due to work release. But the future's bright as far as what's ahead of us. Happy to report that we've added a new customer out in the Massachusetts territory, just over the Albany line, which will be a new territory for us this year, and we've had a couple of our key folks go travel out there to kick those projects off, and they've gone really well. The customer's been great to make sure that we're making good first impressions with customers and local municipalities, and just learning how they like things done. Everyone likes things done a little bit differently from a customer standpoint, but that's been a really smooth kickoff. And then Albany's just doing their thing in a great way. I mean, they're such a good crew out there, from the field to the supervision, chasing the guys, Dave Kowaleski, Frank in the office, Dan Jordan. I mean, the team, you talk about a stacked team out there. Like, that's it right there. So one of my favorite parts about Albany is I was involved when we had a heavy crew count, and then we went through some tough times, and we got down to a really low crew count, like 2. And now we're back up to like way bigger and better than we ever were before. And we weathered the storm. But the guys that we built it with are still the core group of guys that were with us the whole time, right through that. And some had come and gone, but they're all back now. It's like its own little family of a workforce.
It is.
And everyone jokes around, everyone does what they got to do, but they also work hard and share resources with each other, share equipment with each other, but also, rub elbows on the weekends and ride 4-wheelers together and snowmobiles and all that good stuff. So it's just a tight-knit group of folks.
Yeah, and, if you look at that group, by and large, they're younger guys, they're having kids, they're, hanging out on the weekends, like you said, riding 4-wheelers and stuff. It's refreshing to see that.
Oh, yeah, it is. And the same, I didn't mean to skip over that for CNY. I think it's the same out there, too. Yeah. I think the tougher part in CNY is we're so spread out, right? We could be 3 hours north, 3 hours south, 3 hours west, 3 hours east, and everybody works well together, but they're just not as close proximity wise. So like they don't have the chance to, hey, Jim's going to come over and work with you guys for a couple hours and then come back, or I'm going to walk the excavator down, I'll help you guys out for a half hour and then walk back to my job.
Yeah, it was very rare. I was really surprised that Resto was right tight behind the Gas D crew that was on site when we were there yesterday.
Well, that is a new thing for us this year. Is part of the contract renewal that we went through in late 25 into 26. Is they segregated the restoration, and now we have specific restoration crews not only for our own work but for other people's work. So we're kind of running around the state in a whole bunch of different counties, just restoring trench, and that's a new thing that we're learning kind of in real time, and how that work should be executed in different places, and how the administrative things work and all that. But yeah, that's a newer scope for us this year. Yeah, in terms of how it's structured.
So do we want to talk a little bit about Syracuse now that that's kind of up and running?
Yeah, we should. I mean, Syracuse, we jumped into that office probably a little bit too early, which was a little bit intentional, to be honest. We knew Micron was coming. Normally, we'll launch into an area, we'll run a few crews for a season or two, and we'll stretch to where that region is from the closest office. But Syracuse, we kind of went in there like a bull in a china shop and said, we're going to rent a place and we're going to rent a yard and we're going to fit it out and the whole nine, and we did. It took a season or two for us to be visible and get our name on a billboard, we'll say, but now that area is humming. We took on a new, I guess it's more of a maintenance contract of right. Proactive meter replacements for National Grid, and we've been able to have our fitters out there on the street just replacing meters as a program that needs to get done from a regulatory standpoint. But it's not something that we do regularly throughout our workforce. Now, meters are part of the work that we do, right. But it's not a core focus of ours. So that program in and of itself, which has given us the opportunity to keep the fire lit, if you will, has been helpful to keep the Syracuse region where it's got to be.
Yeah, and I think the guys are doing a nice job. They've fit out the shop really well. Mm-hmm. The construction in there went awesome. Yeah. They've got a really nice place to work.
It's a central hub for us, being Syracuse.
It is.
We got our Albany shop, we got Cortland, obviously here in Rochester. We got our things that we're doing out in Massachusetts now, where we're not there yet. We're not bull on the China shop in right. Massachusetts just yet, but yeah, Syracuse is a core area, a core city that we really haven't been in. We're going to put our flag in the ground here.
Right.
With Micron coming and just the overall infrastructure improvements with ID1 getting done, just looking ahead like 5-10 years from now, where do we want to be? Where do we need to be? Mm-hmm. That's a location that we need to have a bigger presence with.
And it's geographically, it's super convenient. Mm-hmm. It's a nice logistical hub for us, and a lot of our footprint, you can be there hour or two, depending on where you're at.
Yeah, and the idea is not, right now it's all gas distribution, and that makes the most sense. But in the future, that could be a civil anchor, it could be an engineering anchor.
Sure could.
We're already running energy services assets out of there, telecommunications. It could be a little piece of everything that we do.
Yeah, and it's been convenient for my group as well. I mean, we're able to host special trainings there and get everybody centered up in that location.
Yep.
It's not something that's built out for training, but it's convenient when we can pull the trailer in there, set up, and do what we need to do.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Yeah, that's been a great add-on.
Yeah. So 2026, a lot different than 2025.
Wow,
a lot different than 2025. I mean, it's crazy how quickly the market can shift. And someone told me a long time ago, it's not how you play the game, it's how long you can play the game. Mm-hmm. And we've definitely been in it for the long game over the past few years of just keeping ourselves in the right place, but waiting for the right time. And 26 feels like the time.
It does. I think that, the market does feel different this year. From my standpoint, we're workforce-wise, I think we're probably the most prepared that we've been in quite some time.
Yeah, feel it. Yeah, I feel it.
And that's a pretty good feeling for me and my team. I know that our team has worked tirelessly to get us there.
Yeah, because that preparation never stops.
No.
I mean, you can best prepare the workforce the best that you can, but the preparation changes as the demand changes, as the how we do things change, as the customer requirements change. Right. Preparation is just an evolving thing.
Right, and we spoke about the work already, and as we go out and win new work, all of a sudden we get a new book to work from, and it starts all over.
And you got it.
It's fun.
And that new book, just because it's new, doesn't mean that you can be any less good. You still have to go out there and execute to 100% satisfaction of the standard, both from a regulatory standpoint, if it is gas work, or what the customer's hiring us to do.
Yes, you're 100% correct.
Yeah.
And those customers they're right there, and they're helping us, and a lot of times they're great partners, and we learn a ton from them.
Yeah, that's the key. Those are always the best ones when it's a true partnership, right? And a good deal is where everybody wins. There's also some challenging projects where it's like, we hired you for X and we want X, and how you guys get to X is up to you. And we figure those out too, but it's much more fulfilling when it's a team effort.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah. How about something else in 26 I'm pretty proud of is I'm going to knock on wood. Folks on the audio can't see this, but there's a wood table in front of us. Zeros across the board right now for safety.
Yeah, we'll take that.
We will take that. Having a goal of 0 is something that most people in the industry say, like, hey, our goal is 0 on the year. I think there's less people that can actually do it. We came close in 2024. We had 2 incidents in 2024, and they both happened late in the year. We were running pretty clean all year long until I think November, and then we had 1 in November, 1 in December, and again, 24 I think feels a lot like 26, where we had some marking in front of us. It was good. We were very well prepared. We were able to focus on the work. There wasn't a lot of distraction going on, which was a breath of fresh air coming out of the COVID era. And 26 sure feels that way. Like, it feels like we're not rushing. Like, everyone knows what they have to do. We're working efficiently. We're working effectively. We have the tools we need, the equipment, restructured some things, and how we're maintaining the fleet and all that. And I think the equipment's in good shape. We've replaced a lot of things, and we're going to continue to replace equipment that's just tired, right? So we're not stumbling over ourselves. And it feels like we're really focused on the work, and focused on how we're doing the work, focused on how new employees are coming on board, how the onboarding experience is, and we're transferring knowledge from some of the people that are more experienced to the new guys. I think our results reflect all of that. It's not like you focus intentionally on, okay, today we're going to go get zeros for safety. That's just a result, an indication that everything else that we're doing along the way is getting done right? So that's what I'm most proud of when we say things like we're at 0 is not the 0 number. It's not like we're going and intentionally focusing on this one thing and doing it, but it is an indication and a result of us doing a lot of the little things all very, very right.
Yeah, and when you say a lot of the little things, it's the stuff in the background. It's the stuff that nobody sees. It's not
the boring
big
stuff.
Flashy. It's the boring stuff.
Yep. Yeah, doing the toolbox talks in a way where it's effective, not just checking the box. And it's not about the slip. It's about the conversation that you have and actually taking it serious and talking about the risks that are in front of you. It's about caring about who you're with, asking the right questions. If you notice something, it's about cleaning up the job site and just general cleanliness and organization. And if you're done with a tool, it gets cleaned up, it gets put back here the same way every time, and just a clean and tidy workplace. And yeah, it's like doing all the small, boring stuff, like making a habit out of doing it really, really well.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah,
I would.
We've preached that a lot. I feel like, of just you keep a clean job site, keep stuff out of your way. Like, the chances of you tripping over something are pretty slim if there's not something there to trip over, right? Yeah. So it's like, how do you set yourself up for success and not set yourself up for risk and incidents and all the things that can happen when you're rushing through and when you don't have an organized place that you're working in, right? Even down to like your truck. Like, how does the truck look, right? If there's just tools tossed everywhere in the bed and you need an adjustable wrench for something, but there's stuff all over the place and gasoline cans and everything else, that's no way to work. That's not who we are. That's not the standard that we hold. So the results of efficiency, of safety, of rework, and lack thereof in terms of safety and rework are a result, reflects the habits that we built.
It does. It sure does.
Yeah.
We've talked a little bit about, the safety side of it. Anything else that you see in 26 that you're really looking forward to?
Yeah, there's one thing. We mentioned it earlier, but to get into a little more detail about it, we're starting a new rotational internship. We call it an internship, but it doesn't need to be an intern of somebody that's still in education. It can be somebody that has graduated, and that's actually who we're starting with right now. It's an individual named Connor Compton. Connor had worked for us for a few seasons out in Albany as an intern on a gas distribution crew, so out in the field as a tradesman. And he worked his way through college and built a relationship with the management out there, built a relationship with the men out in the field. And he had reached out to me proactively, probably in the fall of 25. It was a pretty informal ask. It was like, hey, you know, I know you, obviously. We've seen each other. We've talked at a few of the events that we had in the fall of 25. I'm going to be graduating in summer of 2026. How do you feel about a shadow environment where I'm able to shadow either the leadership here or certain divisional management, or, you know, I'm kind of an open book and I want to learn and be on a stable path from a career standpoint. And I give him a lot of credit for doing that, you know, because one, it takes some grit and proactiveness to put yourself out there with the leadership of the company that you're working for. And two, it shows ambition, right? That no one's going to come out here and make the path for Connor. Connor's going to go build the path himself, and I love that. You know, again, Connor and I put our heads together on the concept, and then we pulled in Eric Trulson in HR to help us put pen to paper and actually get a framework in place that's more of a system that'll live beyond just Connor's experience. But it's going to be a rotational internship where it's 3 months at a time, and you spend your 3 months in different divisions. So, like, he's with our engineering division to start. He's with a manager named Randy, who they're out in Virginia doing some integrity inspections from an engineering standpoint. So he's getting that visibility into an engineering aspect of what we do, converse to construction experience that he already has. And then 3 months, so he's going to do 3 months of that, and then he's going to go into our civil group, where he's going to be on a high-profile project here in Rochester, a big dirt job, big import job, in terms of sub-base and parking lot infrastructure and just general utility infrastructure, like just a core good civil job to get him experience in what we do. And then from after those 3 months, he'll take what he learned there from a project management standpoint, and then he'll go to energy services, which is another construction division. And we have an EPC project in Virginia, which is a design build essentially. And so he's going to take those project management skills and then push them over to our pipeline division in the transmission world on a CNG storage facility and do that. And then he'll do his fourth 3-month rotation here in headquarters, kind of through the late winter into early spring, and see how it is that we plan work for the year, how we kind of plan, communicate, execute, like those three things, how we structure our upcoming year around the core functions of what it is that we do. So he'll be shadowing me, he'll be shadowing some of the other teammates, and then come March of 27, he'll have gone through, you know, basically those 3-month rotations, and then we'll sit down together and say, hey, what'd you like? What didn't you like? Where do you see yourself? What are your strengths? What are some things we need to work on? And then find what's the best fit for him as a full-time employee, right? So that idea, that concept is something obviously that's going to be great for Connor, and I'm excited to be part of that along the way. But also, we're going to take that approach and put it into a framework of something that we offer to people more than just Connor, right? So there's a few other prospects right now that we've already identified, but also we're going to go partner with an Alfred State, with an RIT, with a Clarkson, with some of these schools where if we're partnered on the front end, right, and this is a unique offering that we have because we have all these divisions under one roof, we're going to attract the top quality people in those classes to want to come get that experience here, and then build our pipeline of just, you know, good people.
Yeah, I would agree with that. When we first met Connor at Alfred, it was awesome. Like, he, you know, his instructors highly recommended him, and that was at the point when he was still in the heavy equipment operations class. That was before he signed up for the 2+2, and you know, ahead of a lot of that.
Yeah.
So it's really been fun to see him, you know, spend the time with the guys in the field and to see him grow into this program. And I gotta say, having him reach out to you was, you know, he had mentioned that was a little bit nerve-wracking, but it was one of those things that, like you said, it showed a lot of grit.
No, it did, and it probably was nerve-wracking, but then we got on a call, and after 30 seconds, he was like, okay, all right, you know what I mean? Yeah. We're good. We're going to talk it through. And we did. You know, that's how we run things here. It's not stuffy. It's not like, oh, there's layers here and you can't go there. Right. You know, we're all trying to achieve the same thing, and we just happen to be different links in the chain in how we get there. I give him a lot of credit for being a young guy, fresh out of school, in an industry where it's sometimes tough to color outside the lines. You know, those are the kind of people that make their own path and are successful in doing that.
Yeah, I would agree. That's a really cool program. I can't wait to hear Connor report back on that.
Yeah.
And
we're keeping in touch along the way.
Yeah.
You know, for sure. But just an impressive young kid. He was in the diving space. He was on the national diving team, and he placed second 2 years in a row in the whole country, which is a pretty unique, I think, it's something that I gained a lot of respect for him for, because it's not like you're a teammate on a team, like a football team or a baseball team.
Right.
Like it was all him
It
for
was
himself.
a team of him, yes.
And it's hard to hold yourself accountable when it's only you. Like you can negotiate with yourself pretty easily. But when you have a teammate, right, and somebody like, hey, Mark, I'll meet you at the gym in the morning. If I don't show up at the gym, like I'm not going to feel great about that, right? Now, if it's just me and I'm deciding I'm going to go to the gym in the morning, but I don't go, well, there's no one to really be disappointed, right, other than yourself. So, I give him a lot of credit to have the discipline to hold himself accountable through his college career, 2 years in a row, to hit the gym every day, to do cardio every other day, to do all the things that he needs to do. Again, the boring stuff, the habits that you build that create success, that in and of itself was impressive.
Yeah. And, in a future episode, we're going to hear from Connor and his coach,
Yeah.
at the same time, which is really cool.
That'll be cool.
And they're working with us this summer. I'm really excited about that, too.
Yeah.
Well, I think, have we gotten through pretty much everything on your list, Mike?
Pretty much everything that's on my mind right now. But we're not.
We've really got a lot
listen,
of
these
JuWan,
are not.
right?
These aren't going to be one and done either. These are going to be more prevalent than they were last year. And I want to get out there in the field and record some with the guys, even if it's a 15, 20-minute one. Get some of the admin support here in the office. I want to hear from them. So last year was kind of a one and done for me, at least. And I want to be more involved in these this year. So this won't be the only one.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. I did miss it, and I was at the point where a lot of you had asked, hey, is this thing coming back? What's going on? Was it, just a flash in the pan?
We're back in action.
Yeah, we're back.
And now we got JuWan to hold us accountable. You talk about, like
yeah,
I just
right.
said.
The team, yeah.
Now he's putting things on our schedule. Now it's like actually scheduled out. So
yeah, instead of just quick and dirty, we're going to have a structure, and it's going to be great.
Yeah, that's right.
I love it. All right. Well, hey, thanks to everybody for joining. And thank y'all for taking the time today. It was great to have you guys.
Appreciate y'all listening, and JuWan, thanks for holding us accountable. I know you saved your voice this one. You really didn't have to talk much. You know what I mean? You just
Don't worry.
You just got to enjoy the ride. But next one, Mark and I are just going to shut up the whole time and say, all right, JuWan, it's all yours.
Let's do it.
Okay. Perfect. Perfect.
Well, appreciate everyone listening. We'll see you out there, and you'll hear from us soon.
Yep. Take care, everybody.